Good morning, Minecraft. How you doing? Wandering Beekeeper here. Yeah, that song resonates with me a bit. I've had some factory workers in my family, and my grandfather, well, one of the last shots in that video of the sad woman sitting next to the hospital bed with the dying man on it. My grandfather died of emphysema. It's a horrible way to go. He was a fire captain. Back then, they didn't have oxygen tanks. They had a scarf. You wet it down and you wrapped it over your face, and you hoped you weren't getting too much of that up your nose. But emphysema was an occupational hazard. Still is to some extent, although being a fireman has gotten a lot more dangerous rather than less because of the compounds that we have in our houses. A house built in the 1930s going up. Yeah, that scarf ain't great, but the particulates are your primary concern. A house built in 2010 going up? Oh Lord. You damn near need a hazmat suit to go into that blaze. I'm a thing. I'm such a thing. And so here we are in more chemistry. And we are today in a different world. Welcome to Minecraft 1.20.1 with Immersive Engineering and the new Immersive Geology. Thank you, Muddy Cat, for putting in the effort here and getting in touch with me and through my YouTube comments section and letting me know that this version was in beta. So we are going to be looking at a beta release of Immersive Geology here. This is not the final. There's a lot of stuff still being done. Let's start with looking at the book. Because, if you've been with me for any previous streams or if you've watched my VODs on YouTube, excuse me, dang it. Pardon there. Okay, yeah, that was a little loud. You'll know that I am a great believer in reading the manual. RTFM, to me, stands for Read the Fabulous Manual. I like to think of it as a fabulous manual because the odds are I wrote at least part of it. I've been a technical writer for 40 years and have written a lot of stuff. And so, yeah, I go to the manual. Now, most of this is standard immersive engineering. We've seen immersive engineering before on these streams. I rather like immersive engineering. I like how power is handled. I like actually stringing wiring and setting up a transformer farm and the whole bit where it looks like real world electricity. It handles kind of like it too, which is another thing we'll get to in a second. Immersive Geology adds a section, and there's some fun stuff in it. Now, there are some notes here. It is in development. This is a beta release. So yeah, the processing chains are just not done at all. I would really like to be able to see the processing chain for iron, but right now there's just a description label. There's just a field label here and some placeholder graphics, and it's going to take time. These things take time to do. Kind of flipping back and forth for a second, as I tend to do. But let's go on and look at a couple things. Binding agent is something I need to make at this point. And I've got the parts, I hope. I've got some parts here. We all have some parts. That's another story. Let's see. I'm going to be doing heavy machinery and a mixer. This is not an immersive geology machine. This is an immersive engineering base machine. And if I hover over the question mark, it'll show me that I have, in fact, got all the parts in my inventory. That's what the green check mark is for. It tells me you have that in your inventory right now. I like the auto checkoff feature on the parts list. That's a really nice detail and the kind of thing you see in mods like immersive engineering that are built by people who know how engineering works in the real world. You know, an auto checklist is it's a simple enough thing to do, but it's a brilliant thing to think of. One of those things like, why don't other people do this? I mean, come on, it's not hard. Okay, as to where we are. Usually, with this sort of a mod, I would go, oh, ow. I would go find a woodland mansion and set up in it. I mean, if you've been with me for previous streams, you've seen me hermit crab into woodland mansions over and over. They're handy. It's a big, boxy structure with multiple rooms on a couple of levels. Has some raw materials already present, and I don't have to build the structure to put the equipment in. But in woodland mansions do have the problem of occasionally being on fire when you find them. Because they have foundries like this, and sometimes that lava, isn't quite contained. There's a block missing in the placement or something, and or the woodland mansion has been set down on top of a lava pool. I've seen that happen far too many times. You get to the woodland mansion, and the structure is already fully involved. There's no hope for it. All you can do is sit there and go, well, shit. I always remember the content warning after the first time I cuss. Content warning, I am old. I am kind of loud. I'm queer. I will talk about my lived experience, and I will make dick jokes, and I will make weed references, and I will make a lot of Hodgsons. A Hodgson is a reference that only a few people are ever going to get. And named after Joel Hodgson of Mystery Science Theater 3000 fame, who said, "We never ask, will anybody get this joke? We say the right people will get the joke." Never be afraid of an obscure reference. The people who get it will feel good about it. So yeah. Also, a lot of my references have become Hodgsons simply because I'm 62 and I make references to shit from 50 years ago. So, one of the features of immersive engineering is the engineer's workbench. You've seen it before, sitting over here with some stuff on it where I've been making components. I put in a Toms, I threw in iron chests, and just put up a wall of obsidian chests, and presto. I've got my storage system knocked out. I've still got 1200 capacity, even with hideous amounts of mining byproducts and partially processed ore waiting to go to the next stage. All that cassiterite is going to end up over here eventually. I'm just still working on it, and yeah, that gets smelt it down into tin in the improved blast furnace, which is running off of low power. I'm running a low voltage line into here, and ooh, that's gotten a little chunky. Let's empty this out and go drop it into the toms for now. I have things to do with slag, but not right now. Let's drop it in there. There are a couple of toms cables run. There's one going to the back of the furnace, to the output box that picks up the ingots or whatever and drops them into the toms grid. Metal press, pretty bog standard. The gravity separator. This is a jewel here. This is one of the stages of ore processing. Now, there's not a lot to see here. This is still a mod under development. I'm hoping the animation does get added in. The old version, you would actually see the ore sliding down the sluice and at some point switching from little floating dirty crush icons to little floating crushed icons. And yeah, it was actually pretty cool watching the ore slide down the sluice. One thing at a time. I understand how this goes. I've got my own mod pack that I'm trying to get back to. I've had so many other things on my mind. Over here, the Crusher. This is the standard immersive engineering eats players crusher. Do not walk out on top of that thing. It will eat your character in a matter of a tick. It's just, this is one of those refrigerator chewing things that you see on YouTube. It is fierce. So the ore goes into the raw ore goes into there and gets broken down into dirty crush. The dirty crush gets loaded into the gravity separator and has to be manually transferred. This cannot be automated. This is immersive geology. So yeah, you have to climb up there and pour in buckets of dirty crushed ore into the sluice, and then collect it down here where I have a Tom's hopper hidden underneath this barrel and a cable that runs under the floor over to the connector. If we walk over here and through this door, through this opening, yeah, here's some of the sausage making here where I've got Tom's inventory cable running around. So yeah, I moved into a stronghold. I am in peaceful mode. I play these tech mods in peaceful mode so that I don't have to fart around with zombies and spiders and skeletons while I'm trying to build this stuff, and I don't have to worry about creepers blowing up my expensive machinery. So yeah, put it in peaceful mode, and I came in here and found a stronghold and said, okay, I can move into this. This will work. Check my coking ovens. I need to build a couple more. But first, I need to do something with all this damn creosote. I got one tank full and another on its way, and I gotta do something with all that damn creosote. A couple of crude bloomeries. These are from Immersive Geology, and this is the first smeltery that you will build. It's just 2 blocks, a refractory block and a refractory slab, and you right-click it with the hammer and kapop. And it's just a little bloomery where you can make copper out of copper ore. If you find cuprite, you can smelt it down into copper ingots right here. You don't have to do anything fancier. The alloy kiln, which, we're well familiar with from immersive engineering. Industrial hemp, immersive engineering again. You've got to have your industrial hemp growing because you're going to need it for wire insulation and for
windmill cladding and a couple of other things. That's a circuit table I'm not doing much with right now. Let's go look at how other things are set up here, because once the ore goes through the gravity separator and you have crushed ore, you've got a couple of options. It depends on what sort of ore you've got. This is immersive geology, and so it is much more real world as far as metal processing. One of the first big things you have to build is a reverberation furnace, and ain't that a beauty? That sucker is massive, and we're only seeing the top of it. The pipes there capture the effluent coming out of the stacks and send it to a fluid router. I've only got one exit from the fluid router right now because so far everything has made sulfur dioxide. I got to do something with the sulfur dioxide. It's going to get turned into some sort of acid, I have a feeling, sulfuric or something. We'll see what happens. This is a neat little bit of effort. That is high voltage coming down. Do not get too close to that. That is a high voltage accumulator, and high voltage wires cannot be insulated. Very dangerous. Which is why I'm wearing an enchanted Faraday suit. Ain't that a sweet little deal? Let's find my key here and get a look at my character from a little bit of a distance here. There we are. Backpack and Faraday suit. And enchanted with unbreaking and mending and all the other things you'd normally put on armor. Faraday suit helps keep me from getting zapped when I'm working around the high voltage lines. Getting popped and respawned is not my idea of a good time. So, long distance transmission, I'm bringing the power down on a high voltage line so that I'm getting a lot of power coming down into the accumulator, which is basically just a big acid battery. The accumulator serves as a buffer, always buffer, and feeds to the transformer that knocks it down to MV, medium voltage, at which point it feeds into these three accumulators, which then I can power my entire setup down here on from power being brought down from the surface. We'll go look at that in a minute. MV wire is insulated and so is safe to walk around. Excuse me. A little bit phlegmy this morning, sorry. Alrighty, so this is the low voltage line here, which is the original line I set up. Because, of course, you have to work your way up the voltage tiers, from low to medium to high. And so low voltage, well, it's a stronghold, and it had an architectural feature, and so I took the fountain and turned it into a power generator by adding water wheels to the fountain. And that wasn't enough, so I gave it 2 companion smaller fountains with water wheels. So I have 3 sets of 3 water wheels going here, generating low voltage electricity and all feeding to that accumulator there, which then routes up and around to this accumulator over here, which then powers the water pump for the gravity separator and the metal press and the pre-warmers for the blast furnace and the pump that gets the creosote out of the coke ovens and shoves it into those tanks, which are filling up and I gotta do something about. Let's head downstairs and look at a couple things. Because I've got a next step here in ore processing that has been accomplished. I'm not going to throw raw ore into the crusher right now. It's loud. I've got ear defenders in my in my helmet, and it's still bloody fucking loud. The reverberation furnace at the base. Hefty little sucker, ain't it? 2 inputs because there are 2 combustion chambers, one of which is functioning, and oops, I just missed it. I clicked into here just in time to miss seeing the bit there emerge, because we are producing chalcocite slag. If we watch a second here, let's just be patient. I'm not good at patient. This mod is good for me because it makes me be patient. Oh lordy, not another learning experience. I need to rephrase that somehow. The original line was, "Goddess, please, not another learning experience," but I'm not so much of a... Okay. Now it's going to kick out. There it goes. And there it goes. Just that simple. Conveyor belt. I mean, we've seen conveyor belts before, but, conveyor belt. So, reverberation furnace is taking the crushed chalcocite ore that came out of the gravity separator, firing it with coke, and producing chalcocite slag. Which then goes to the ball mill and gets turned into slag powder, which then comes back down to the gravity separator and gets made into copper oxide and nickel oxide. The copper oxide and the nickel oxide gets pelletized and then smelted into nickel ingots. Looks like the copper oxide is an incomplete recipe. But, we're after nickel here. So, trying to get nickel, this is how we're going to do it. So I've got chalcocite ore that's been made into slag, and it has to go to a thing called a ball mill. Now, a ball mill takes a fair amount of power. That little LV thing there that we just saw just ain't going to do it. Okay, I should go get some of that chalcocite before I go upstairs. I have a lot of ore already. But I should go get some of that and take it with me. Should have done that while I was down there. Didn't think of it. Of course, I didn't think of it until I was upstairs, and now I have to go back down. But that's just life, kind of how it works. So yeah, the place is made out of stone, so I can't set it on fire. Handy that, isn't it? Let's see. You could have a little more coke. No, you want to put it... I want to put it over here. Thank you. Put it in the active side. Okay, so, yeah. Turn the fountains into power generation. Up to the wind farm. Boop. So, standard immersive engineering power layout. I built a wind farm. That got me medium voltage going. With the medium voltage, I was able to power alternatingly the industrial squeezer and the industrial fermenter and get plant oil and ethanol made. I could then run the refinery off the tanks. I don't have to have the preprocessors running to run the refinery. Run the refinery off the tanks and fill up the biodiesel tank. Biodiesel tank then goes to the diesel generator, which produces high voltage off of 3 different connection points. 4.09 forge energies, kiloforges, I guess. Trying to think about, wait a minute, epis. Kilofees? Don't like that. Kiloforges sounds better. This is a very standard layout for producing high voltage and stepping it down to medium voltage for use. The diesel generator outputs high voltage directly to a bank of high voltage accumulators. The high voltage accumulators go up to relays and then down to transformers so that I can take high voltage off here or there if I like. That one over there, you can see there is a takeoff that goes in there, and that goes down to the stronghold where, we are right directly above where we were a few minutes ago. Let me walk around. Don't walk through there. Even in a Faraday suit, don't walk through high voltage. Just don't. So, yeah, you can see there. That goes in there, and then that line goes down and just keeps going down for several relays until it gets to the stronghold, and you've already seen the apparatus at the bottom. The transformers feed to MV accumulators. The MV accumulators feed to transmission lines. First transmission line goes over here and feeds into the grid. I should go over there as well. Do I have wire on me? No, I don't. Or do I? No, I don't. Damn it. I should have wire up here. Why don't I have wire up here? Why do I keep storing it downstairs? That's inconvenient. This relay needs to hook to that pole in order to bring some of that power directly to the equipment here. Right now, it's all routing into the grid and through the accumulators. Second transmission line, as you can see, goes directly to the accumulator, which is acting as our router. The third one comes down here and hits that relay there and then goes to the ball mill. There's the ball mill in action. Look at the animation on that. Isn't that sweet? This is the kind of stuff that I expect of mods like Immersive Geology. And this device delivers. This is a beta release. Let us be patient. There will be more. The ball mill is a bit of a power hog. It's running on MV and is really slurping it down. So yeah, I've got a transmission line coming directly from that MV accumulator at the generator and bouncing to here and also over to the other MV accumulator for the wind farm. Wind farm is still generating. I'm using a lot of power right now. And what I'm doing is I'm making chalcopyrite slag powder. And I'm going to walk around here, see what I've got in here. Some sphalerite and there's chalcopyrite. And I'm going to huck in the chalcocite as well, because I'm going to need it. I've got chalcopyrite processing. I've had sphalerite in there. I've had wolframite at one point here. Yeah, I got a lot of wolframite powder, sphalerite powder, chalcopyrite slag powder. Chalcopyrite slag powder goes to the gravity separator. It gives me iron oxide and copper compound dust. Copper compound dust goes to the reverberation furnace and gives me copper oxide and sulfur dioxide. Copper oxide gets pelletized and then smelted into copper. Whee! Ain't that fun? And we got fun. Okay, the iron oxide goes directly to the pelletizer and gets pelletized and then smelted into iron. So this all needs to go downstairs. Oh, still have a chalcocite slag. Throw that in there. Here. Let's go on and pull this, and this out because I can actually put it through the next stage of processing. I'm working my way through here, getting some of this stuff processed as I'm able to do so. What I'm about to do, this is the pelletizer. It needs fluid input from a mixer, and I'm going to build the mixer here. It's a 3x3 device. It should fit with no problem. Let's look at the mixer. Let's do a stop and look at it here. Okay, the front. There's my output. I've got an input here that's going to need water. That's not a problem. There's the output. The key here is going to be where the output goes, because that's going to have to come around to here. So I'm going to want it facing this direction to keep that pipe short. And I'm going to want it over here so I don't run into any problems here. Check my overhead. Okay, I can squeeze it in here. Cool. Just going to put it right next to that. Okay, so I need 5 of these to start with. 1, 2, much more ergonomics. Sit back, crack my neck. Ow, goddamn. I have not been watching my ergonomics properly and have done myself some minor damage. Having some issues with my neck and right shoulder. Really need to be much more careful. I've gotten to an age where ergonomics really seriously matter. All right, next level up. 2 lights, 4 sheet metals, and a red. Okay. Light, light. 4 sheet metals, and a redstone block. And we want to tap that sheet metal. Okay, and there's our fence and our final light block. Fence and light block. Light block goes on top. Oops, damn it. Goes there. And fence goes there. And then we just drop down here in front of it, take the engineer's hammer and go tap. And poof. Industrial potion making. I have built a mixer. The mixer's output, I'm not going to buffer. I'm going to commit a bit of a sin here. I'm not going to buffer. I'm just going to pipe it directly over to the pelletizer because that's the only thing that's going to do anything with it. Okay, I need to hook up a water supply, which means I need a pump and I need some buckets and I need wiring and connectors, all of which are downstairs. Let's go down to the downstairs. Whoops, damn it. Cancel. Home. Teleport. There we go. Alrighty, so I come over here and I go up the scaffolding over to here and get this slag powder and go, and I'm just gonna throw it straight in. You just use the Q, lean on the Q key and drop it and huck it in. Now, previously, whoops, I loaded too much in. Not one to take it here. That's not right with my separator. What's wrong with my separator here? It's doing just fine. Not getting water. That's got power. It should be getting water. Quite sure. This may be part of the problem, is I may have just loaded it up so much. Let's go up and try loading another stack. There we go. The ore goes through incredibly fast. The slag powder, I haven't done this before, the slag powder takes a minute, and it's only got a 1 stack capacity. Got it. Little bit of patience goes a long way. There we go. Now I can throw the next stack in. I have to wait for it. Oh, no. I could only throw some of the next stack in. There we go. Cannot throw it all, throw this stuff in as fast. Oh, no, it's full. It's full. Let's drop down here and, whoops, damn it. In here and, see anything in here? There it goes. Oh, it's also a little slower to process, isn't it? There's a delay here between stuff showing up. Look at that. There's a delay. Okay, and then a bunch all of a sudden comes pouring out. Alrighty. I hadn't done slag powder before. Didn't. Okay, there's it works differently than ore. Got it. 1 stack at a time, cannot go just banging it all in there. Bunging it all in there would be the Britishism that I'm looking for, I think. Okay, MV wire relay, MV wire connector, MV wire coil. And I need a pump. I've got some fluid pipe. I need water buckets. How am I doing on buckets and water and stuff? I got a couple. Oh, yeah, there we go. I got 2 buckets. I only need 2 buckets. Oh, 2 source blocks will get me started. All right. Pump, fluid pipe, MV connections. I think I'm good here to get this going. Oh, lever. Oh. Do I have any levers made? No. Oh, look, there's iron oxide ticking in. Coming in from the gravity separator. Let's see. No, I'm gonna have to make a lever. Not a problem. Much crap as I've got in here, it's actually easier to use how to find the components. Do the recipe for me. Always clear the grid.
When you're using toms, always clear the grid. Failure to clear the grid on a crafting terminal can cause server lag. Bad thing, yes. And I should take a barrel and put some of these wiring supplies upstairs when I'm done. Let's go up to the wind farm. Teleport. Okay, at the wind farm. Walk down here and stick this up here by that. Okay. That'll be where the supplies go. There's a supply cupboard. Presto. Done. Alright. Lever. Machine off. MV connector goes there on that little copper spot. Then we wire it in. And I'm going to take the wire around to this post here. There we go. And it connects. And our mixer is now powered. Look at that. The power just rolls right in. That's sweet. Not that. A little problem with my headphone cable. Okay, now we got to have some input here. To get the input I need fluid pipe. Feeding into this. And we're just going to bring that fluid pipe over here. And let's go and take it up here. There we go. And I'm going to put my pump, I think, right here. Let's just see if this fits here. And pump. Cool so far. Don't need to go up like that. Let's remove. That is not necessary. And the pipe is just going to go here and here, just like that. All right. Dig out under there. And water bucket. And I need water bucket. I restore my water bucket and restore my water bucket. I need a connector. There. Crouch to place it. And, oh, damn it. I always forget the fucking lever. There. Put a lever on it. Fluid output. There we go. Set that to fluid output. The bottom is already set to fluid input. And it's in a source block, in a square of source blocks, so we should be good there. All right, now, wire. Wire is a thing. We have to wire it to that. Then we have power. The pump is now powered. Machine over here is showing as empty. I'm going to kick that on. And water. There we go. Water going in. Okay, now, if I remember correctly, the binding agent requires clay ball. Concrete, potions, fluids are input. Input via the two hatches at the back. I need GEI because I need, what am I trying to pelletize here? Well, wolframite, or I'm trying to pelletize the sphalerite. Let's pull out some sphalerite. Let it work. Let that happen. All right. Now, if I'm going to try and pelletize sphalerite, damn it. I have sphalerite powder. Take it to the pelletizer with binding agent. Binding agent is in the mixer with water and clay ball. I need to go get, all right, clay ball. Home, teleport. Bop. Clay ball. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looked like it had 8 slots. I'll go on and get 8 stacks of clay ball. Back up to the wind farm. And over to the mixer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And output. Hopefully, we get, flip it on, and it becomes, and we get binding agent. Binding agent then goes here, maybe? I'm not sure about this pelletizer. It's a little non-intuitive. I don't know. But I've made binding agent. Output only bottom fluid. That should be the binding agent. Should be in the pipe. I don't know. Sure about this pelletizer. Yeah, going to the book is not going to be as helpful as I'd like it to be. There's the pelletizer fully built. There's only this one bit of text on it. I'm trying to figure it out. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to throw stuff into this hopper here. So let us go kick it on. And let's see if this works. Yes, it does. Oh shit, that's how it works. How you do it. Okay. And we have some animation here. We have the pan rotating. That's a pretty big sucker. And we're getting sphalerite pellets. Look at that. Binding agent is, in fact, being produced and exported. From the mixer.
We are getting binding agent over here, obviously, because I am getting sphalerite pellets. Sphalerite pellets go to the blast furnace and become zinc ingots, and I can finally have zinc. Yay. Let's watch our friend the pelletizer for a minute here, because this is a heck of a thing. Look at the size of this animation here. It's a multi-block animation. And the fact that we're actually hucking the powder into a hopper and watching the pan rotate. This is immersive geology. You know, it's in-world processing, and it's more realistic processing of ore into metal. This is going to run for a few minutes because I threw in a stack. I should be able to pelletize wolfram as well, I think. Let's check. I got wolframite powder. No, wolframite powder does not get. It gets put in a chemical reactor with hydrochloric acid and turned into manganese and tungsten. We're not going to be doing anything with wolframite for a while. I got to build a chemical reactor first. I just got the pelletizer up and running. Look at that. I got 64 sphalerite pellets. It's a whole new thing. I'm going to take the rest of this sphalerite powder and let's go on and tuck it in and just see what the capacity is. Okay, you can take one stack. It can take two stacks. Okay. Pelletizer can be fed more than one stack at a time. That's handy. Alright, and that's going to be making more sphalerite pellets. Oh, crap, I got the pelletizer running. This is big. This is a big deal, getting the pelletizer running. This is a major step in ore processing. I can now pelletize these powders that I'm grinding with the ball mill, and I get them into the blast furnace and make ingots. I can actually make ingots here. Okay, chalcopyrite slag powder only has the one use. Okay, fine. All right. Major step. Major step. Let us go home. Teleport. And I'm going to go interrupt the blast furnace. It is currently turning crushed cassiterite into tin. I'm going to interrupt that and make it do zinc. Ooh, need to get some coal block in here also. Okay, there we go. Oh, look at the speed on that. That goes quick. That is quick. Look at that. Zoom. All right. Off to the coking ovens. Things go better with coke. Load that in. I got sphalerite pellets here going. What else needs to be ground for pelletization? I have bauxite. Doing the same thing I did with Greg Tech and using JEI to see where it goes. Bauxite goes to the ball mill, becomes powder, goes to the chemical reactor to be broken down into bauxite sodium salt. We're not going to fuck with bauxite right now.
Cassiterite, I know I can smelt it into tin. I can in fact pelletize it. Yeah, I can drop it straight into tin. I can drop it in the crude bloomery and make tin. Cassiterite powder can either be gravity separated into tungsten and tin, or pelletized and the pellet turned into tin. Okay, there's no point in going all the way to pellet on cassiterite because I can, but there is a point in dropping it into the gravity separator as a powder. So I want to take some cassiterite up and drop it into the ball mill. Meantime, I need to get this chalcopyrite, this stuff here, this chalcopyrite slag powder needs to be dropped into here. Okay. Okay, so I want to take cassiterite up to the ball mill. Nope, not yet. Just about have to wait for it to quit running down here, you know? Watch for that burst coming up. Let's put a barrel here, this in it. Yeah. I got somewhere to put that. All right. I want to take 8 cassiterite up. Let's see, where's the cassiterite? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want to take 8 of these up. Cryolite. Cryolite goes to the ball mill and gets turned into powder and then goes to the arc furnace. Oh, lordy. Yeah, that goes to there with the aluminium oxide or alumina, and I haven't found the damn ore. It's driving me up the wall. Galena. One thing I will say, this mod takes a lot of patience and a lot of willingness to do the exploration work. You will be prospecting for a long time. Okay, this gets pelletized and smelted straight into lead. That's brilliant. Let's do that. Let's take this galena, 2 stacks of it, because I can do that into lead. The crushed gold ore, probably going to want to be pelletized. Oh, it don't even have a recipe. Damn. I can sluice it and get grits. But, yeah, and it just seems to be like what I ought to have done. Hematite, that turn, I can smelt that into iron. Is there any point in taking it upstairs? Iron oxide, chromium oxide. Pelletize it and turn it into, I can maybe get chromium out of it. I think it's probably worth it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's that much stuff going up. Up to the wind farm, go. Over to the ball mill. And yeah, it's working on chunk site. Let's just load in the galena next, and then the hematite, and then all the siderite. That's gonna be going for a while. Slag powder. Chalcocite slag powder. Okay, yeah, that's an osmium precursor or a nickel thing, and I've already been taking it down. And I've already got nickel working on the other one. All right, we'll move on. We'll move on. Okay, from here, I need to do a lot of processing time, and I need to put together the materials to do a chemical reactor, which is going to be extensive, and I'm going to do it off stream so as not to take up stream time with tedium. So, let's bounce downstairs and put this away. All right, and switch over to Greg Tech. Gonna switch over to Greg Tech, and so we'll be right back after this brief interlude. While I'm quitting and out of this and going over to the other game world. Give me a minute. Hot diggity, it worked. There we go. Back to game, and here we are in the Greg Tech world. Okay. Ooh. We'll look in here a second. This is where part of the fun is. I'm accumulating the parts for a gas turbine and an alloy smelter. Alloy blast smelter. Excuse me. Oh, lordy, that's going to be a thing. Let's start with a quick tour of the mushroom mine shaft. Nothing much has happened here, but I do need to check on systems. I've got stuff processing as usual. Ooh, looking a little rough here. Come on, get settled in. I know it's a little bit much that I'm asking of you, but come on, you can do this. You've done it before. Going okay there. I don't remember what I got going over here. Oh, those are ready to be harvested. Want to get those. Want to get those and drop them into the cupboard here. I just took Oxy over to the refinery, so it's pretty clear. Doing a few things. Silicon, iron, and aluminium. Spinning that down from almandine. A lot of it. Spinning down the end stone dust, getting helium and tungsten. Over here, I've been spinning down spinning down sticky resin to get rubber pulp. Pull up at the moment and stopped. And over here, the ever-present stone dust still going. Okay, down this way, we've got a few other things happening. Check on things. Some aluminium in process. Nitrogen is in good shape. Aluminium for a while, and then some stainless. Prepare for loud. Going to take a quick trip around and make sure that everything is doing okay here. I have some exotic alloys processing in the back. HSSG ingots. There we go. Working through this, and then I've got more RTM alloy because I need more RTM coils before I can build the alloy blast smelter. It's going to take more coils than I have in stock. I don't want to build it with cupronickel, there's no point. Go on and build it with the highest level of coil that I can currently make. And that's going to be a while. Helium is doing just fine. I put a tank on here, got rid of the aluminum drum. Put a tank on here and just loaded all the drums into it. Let's be more efficient here. The ever-present metal mixture dust, and I've also got some vanadium magnetite up there that I'm separating into vanadium and magnetite, because vanadium is necessary for making more advanced steel alloys. Need a lot of it. Alright, and ore processing is just going to be ticking along for a while. Let's bounce down to the downstairs. Drop the aluminium in there. Go get... I don't know. I need to, the next thing I really need to do is to make epoxy. And epoxy, there's a couple of different ways here to make it. You need to make it from fluid solidifier and liquid epoxy. Here we go, LCR. There's two recipes. I can either do epichlorohydrin with phenol, acetone, and hydrochloric acid, and with sodium hydroxide to react it with. Oh, I use a lot of that. Or I can go epichlorohydrin and bisphenol A, which I don't think I have right now. That actually gets me epoxy and salt water. This gets me diluted hydrochloric acid, which I'd have to run back through the system. The bisphenol A requires, it's only one recipe, hydrochloric acid, acetone, and phenol. Okay, so it's all the stuff that I would be putting in. Is there a point? And I still end up with diluted hydrochloric acid. I could skip this step and just put these things straight in. Bisphenol A only has one use, making epoxy. Alright, I'm not going to fart around with that. There's just no point in screwing with the bisphenol A thing. It's just an extra step that I don't need. Doesn't really sort anything. Okay. And we're going to do this with the magic of the Emmy hatch. Let us go over to the refinery. I don't see any point in taking this with me. I'm not going to be working with it right now. Okay, more loud. Sorry about all the noise, but it was a necessity for a bit there. Oh shit, I forgot my energy hatch.
I'm gonna have to go make a damn energy hatch, aren't I? God damn it. Thought I had all the parts already set up. Let's look at this real quick. This is the epichlorohydrin reactor here, and it's doing some interesting shit. This is the first time I've used ME hatches. So yeah, there's no import buffer, export widget, none of those little gray limpets. I'm using ME hatches directly and making epichlorohydrin. The way it worked, and I had to go to the ME hatch to get it to work. I have to have the recipe for epichlorohydrin specifically set up here. It takes 1 bucket of propane, 1 bucket of hypochlorous, and 2 of chlorine gas, and I had to actually have a second bucket of chlorine, a second chlorine slot here to get it to work. But the recipe works. Got it going. And I've got sodium hydroxide dust here. And I've only got 1 stack. This is much more efficient. I don't have a huge pile sitting in an input buffer. I don't have just that much, which is nice. And this chugs along, making the epichlorohydrin. Alrighty. Various things going on up there. That is a super tank that had, at one point, ender air and is now empty. So, yeah, I gotta go make an ME hatch. I gotta go make an energy hatch. That's really arfing annoying. Now, switch back to the hazmat suit. Or anything else, switch back to the hazmat suit. That wouldn't happen to have, no, of course not. Let's see what I do have. What I need... This is giving me all sorts of weird shit. Because they all have an energy capacity tag. Trying to find stuff in here is sometimes a little bit annoying. I need an EV energy hatch. But now, here we go. EV energy hatch. Gotta go machine hull, aluminum cable, MPIC, and extreme voltage cable in the potassium machine. Just gonna be up on the EV line. Alright. Let's see. Hatch. I'm sorry, I thought I had all the parts already made off stream. A little annoyed with myself here. Aluminum cable, MPIC chip. Oh, here's the 1X aluminum cable. I got 2 of those right there. Boom, boom, boom. Alright. MPIC chip, probably upstairs. In the clean room, because that's where they're produced. Oh, bugger. I'll pick up import buses. I don't want import buses. Yeah, MPIC chips are going to be upstairs. And then I needed a coil. I need an extreme voltage coil, which has to be done in an assembler with magnetic neodymium rod and fine platinum wire.
Okay. Fine wire, fine wire, fine wire, fine platinum wire, stack of fine platinum wire, magnetic neodymium rod, and those. Bounce up to. We're processing, sorry. Impic chips. Impic chips. That's how to make the coil. And these damn push button doors. Alright, around to the EV line where I have an assembler. It is currently got liquid nichrome in it. I'm going to have to reset it for the other stuff here. This is there's my sodium potassium. We'll hoover that out and get some sodium potassium in there, and then we have to start looking at hatch. EV energy, no. There it is, damn. Alright, this is program 1. The magnetic neodymium rod, fine platinum. There we go. I'm gonna make these things, I might as well make a few of them, you know? And there we go. Okay, got my energy hatch. Take the Impic chip and the coils with me. Don't leave them in the assembler. Want to hook the chips and the coils into there, along with the magnetic neodymium rods, which end up here anyway, and down to the dust farm. Okay, now I have an energy hatch. Damn it. Ugh. I also have some extra RTM alloy wire that I pulled out of there and forgot to put back in. I'm going to just tuck that into the grid for right now. Let's see. Over. And out to here. There we go. Now, I'm going to put the energy hatch here. And then walk around to this side with the wrench. And come on, you can do this. Fuck. I don't want to do it. Going one way to skin a cat. Alright. There and there. And there.
Okay. It's a little tight, isn't it? If I put it on this side, I've got a block available here. I'm going to take that off of there and close that up. Put it over here and repeat the process. Go. Avoid the one step there. Alright, and where's my PTFE casing? Here's my PTFE casing. Whap. There. Now, I want to do this. Let's put bring that cable out along the line of this cable and put everything there. So I'm going to put the back end of it there. Alright, my PTFE pipe casing has to go in the middle. The maintenance hatch is going to go around on side here in a minute. You're gonna, oh, well, here, let's just knock that out. Put the maintenance hatch there. Okay. Now, chemical reactor itself has to go here. Input bus. You go atop that. Input hatch. Output bus. Output hatch. Dang it, I can't get myself positioned quite like I want. There we are. And it forms, which means it is put together in a functional way. Okay, ME cable. ME cable. It's just going to come right down here like that. And I'm going to go bip, 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 click, like that. And it's connected. It is... Okay. Now I got to think about recipe. And go get buckets.
Okay, got some mean, nasty, ugly shit here. Input hatch. Do. Oh, psh, dummy, I'm the input bus. There we go. Hatch is for liquids, silly person. Epichlorohydrin. Epox. Epoxy requires one of everything except 2 of phenol. Okay, 1 epichlorohydrin, 2 phenol, 1 hydrochloric acid, 1 acetone bucket, program 24. Bloop, bloop, bloop. The output hatch now has epoxy. Get a bucket of epoxy. If I can get a bucket. Doesn't want to let me get a bucket. That's annoying. I have to figure that out. Doesn't want to let me get a bucket. That's annoying. And I'm going to shut it down a minute. I expected to be able to just pick out a bucket of it to code the cell that I have waiting. But since I've not been able to, no, that's not it. Epoxy bucket. There. Simply do a give on something I've already legitimately produced. And let's get this cell coded for liquid epoxy. What I'm doing is setting this particular storage cell to only allow liquid epoxy in it. This is a fluid storage cell, and that is now the epoxy tank. There we go, and within seconds it's already got stuff pouring in, I'm sure. I need to get rid of all of this stuff that I'm carrying because some of it's really obnoxious. I don't want to carry it around. Liquid epoxy, 22 buckets. There we go. I have liquid epoxy in the tank farm. All right. All right, fantastic. I've got the epoxy ported in. Let's turn this on. And yeah, there we go. Boom. Now, being produced. All right. To get the final, I have to have an epoxy sheet, which means I need a fluid solidifier. Pretty sure I've got one. Thought it might have been over there. It doesn't seem to be over there. Let's plunk down over here for a second and check something. Fluid solidifier, that's ULV. I could use an HV machine. I just need a fluid solidifier wherever I got one. Sure, I've got one. Where would it be even? Where would I put it even? Oh, that's out of air. Gonna need more compressed air at some point. This is all platinum line stuff over here. Something's buzzing. It's making the noise, and why is it making the noise? No. I got something making an intermittent noise over here. Oh, I'll bet it's the generator. Okay, there we go. Fluid solidifier. I need an HV fluid solidifier. Somewhere. Let's see about getting a fluid solidifier. First things first, always swap gear. Alright, now. Pretty sure I don't have a spare one. So I'm just going to make an HV fluid solidifier here, if I can. Wait. Come on, you can do it. Here we go. Okay, now. One of those, two of those. And I'm missing chips. I should go see what I've got. Please tell me I don't have to make chips here. That would be annoying. That would set me back a bit. I can go up and look at the clean room and see if I have any of the chips I need. Those are precursors for some of the stuff that I was doing up there. But let's come down here first. Those are transistors. Okay, nothing there. Let's go up to ore processing. Dang it. Oh, come on. There we are. Oh, there we go. Solid. Yeah. Microprocessor assembly, nanoprocessor, or advanced IC. There's your microprocessor assembly. Give me two of those. And we'll just bounce back down to the dust farm, boop. Because that's where I'm working on the assembly. And pop these into the grid and go solid. Hello? This OLI. There we are.
HV solidifier, bip, bip. Have I got a plate mold handy? I need a casting mold for this, if I recall correctly. Yeah, casting mold for ingot. Alright, casting mold for plate. Let's make sure of this. Check the book. Casting mold plate. Liquid epoxy gets me epoxy sheet. No. I don't need to teleport. I need to walk down the hallway and then use the dimensional portal. Oh, shirt. Memory crash. Overdid it. Dang it, I got 10 minutes left here in the stream. I'm going to finish this, by gosh, by golly. Let us go over to this screen and get the game going again. Has crashed during stream. Go. Lordy. If it ain't one thing, it's another, you know. You know how it goes. Just one of those things. We'll get this going. Well, come on. Come on. There we go. Y'all can watch this for a second and see what I'm seeing. This mod pack takes a while. But I am so close.
Epoxy completed before the top of the hour. I've been talking to mute this whole damn time. Epoxy is completed. I now have epoxy sheet rolling in. I'm going to stop this for a moment because I'm not sure how much of this I need to convert, but you know, let's park over here by the epoxy bubbler. You know, by the big machine that goes bubbly and makes epoxy. It's quieter over here. Hear myself think. Okay, so Immersive Geology. Got it up to pelletizing and is dropping pelletized ore into the blast furnace and making ingots. Got zinc made. Over in Greg Tech, got the reactor put together and got epoxy made and then put through a solidifier so that I have epoxy sheet, which is vital to making a lot of things here. The advanced circuit boards, I have a feeling, epoxy circuit board, which requires an epoxy sheet with gold foil and sulfuric acid in a chemical reactor. That's a lovely thing. You have to gold etch the epoxy sheet using sulfuric acid. Very realistic. I'm just hoping it doesn't require a clean room. I don't want to have to do a chemical reactor in a clean room. That's oof. Quite the gold cost. Oh yes. Okay, and then we move on to the best HV circuits. We get system on a chip. Moving on up into some fancier shit. Also going this way, we got radon, which is a whole another thing. I gotta do radon at some point. That requires uranium refinement and is going to be another stream because we have at this point hit the top of the hour. Major progress made. We've seen 2 tech mods. We've seen how they work and have built machinery in both of them. Feel like I've accomplished something this morning. Let's see. Let's just pop up this for a second. And I'm going to see if there is anybody I can throw a raid to just to be friendly. Following, I have Void. Excellent. So I'm going to throw a raid over to Void's channel. Void is playing Minecraft in a mixed English and German session. Bitte nicht schubsen, ich hab anxiety im Rucksack. Oh dear. Dear. So, it has been fun, it has been real, it has been even real fun at times. We've had I had a crash, but that happens. I'm going to bring up the end break screen here for a minute so that I've got my VOD URL and streaming schedule URL on the screen. The VOD URL on YouTube will take you to lots of previous Minecraft and other games. The streaming schedule, there's a bunch of people on it, not just me, and a lot of different games going on. Last night we were doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate with July, and that was all sorts of fun. Watching Casey Jones battle his way through some of this stuff. So, it has been fun. I will be back tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. UTC -6 with Roots of Pacha, cozy farm sim in which a Neolithic people invent agriculture. I am very fond of it. I get to be a successful farmer who's well liked by his community for 2 hours every week, and I'm good with that. And I will be back next Saturday morning, same bat time, same bat channel, with more Minecraft trains and tech, and more Greg tech, and who knows? You know, maybe more immersive geology if there's an update to the beta release. We'll see how it goes. So until then, safe journey, space fans, wherever you may be.